150 countries. He works closely with the international president and the board of directors to develop the future of Toastmasters and create and execute plans and strategies to reach those goals. Daniel Rex has worked for Toastmasters since 1990, and during that time he has led several departments at World Headquarters, giving him a unique perspective and an impressive depth of knowledge of the organization. In 2008, he assumed the role of Executive Director, a title that was changed to Chief Executive Officer in 2013. Dan's previous positions include Deputy Executive Director, Director of Communications and Marketing, Marketing Division Manager, and Membership Manager. Daniel Rex holds a BA degree in modern languages from Southern Utah University in Cedar City, Utah, and an MBA in International Management from the Thunderbird School of Global Management in Glendale, Arizona. He holds certificates from the Leadership for Senior Executives course through Harvard Business School and the Executive Leadership Program through the University of California, Berkeley. He completed the Strategic Leadership Program through the University of Oxford. In addition to his Toastmasters duties, Daniel Rex also serves as a member of the Key Global Associations Committee, KGAC, of the American Society of Association Executives. Let's welcome our esteemed keynote speaker today, Mr. CEO Daniel Rex. His speech title is Legacy. Over to you, sir.
Simone, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Somehow, someone gave you the very, very long introduction, and you didn't have to go through all that, but thank you. It's great to be here with everyone today, wherever you are in the world, at whatever time zone you are in. Thanks for joining the meeting of this amazing club. What a fantastic history it has, and what a significant part of our organization's past and present. I think it's been 10 years since I attended a Smedley Chapter 1 meeting on the 90th anniversary at the Firehouse location that someone mentioned previously. As I look around the screen and I zoomed in on the audience, I see so many people who I know and many people who I don't know. I hope sometime to get a chance to meet some of you in person and get to know you just a little bit more than we see each other on the screen. I'd love to read all the names off the screen, but I'm not going to do that. Someone mentioned earlier, one of the past presidents, a tradition that Smedley Chapter 1 has, and this is not part of my prepared speech, but I'm going to tell you a little story. About a decade ago, I received a phone call at the office, and this was a prospective member, not a Toastmasters member. And I thought, this is a salesperson. I don't want to talk to another salesperson. But ultimately, this person kind of fought their way through the screening and made it to me, and we had a little chat, and he said, Mr. Rex, and I don't like to be called that, for those of you who know me, Dan, you have a pretty significant branding problem. And I thought, okay, here we go. He's a salesperson. He's going to try and get me to do something. But he said, I attended a club meeting this week, and I want to let you know that there was something going on at that club meeting that was a little strange. And I said, okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me about it. I said, well, I attended the meeting, and at the far end of the table where the meeting was held, there was a framed photo of a man who had passed away 50 years ago. And all throughout the meeting, they were talking to him. And he said, I just want to let you know that I think that's a little strange. I thought it was funny at the time. But today, in thinking about Ralph C. Smedley, I don't think it's as funny as I did a decade ago. Wouldn't it be an amazing thing to meet with him and be able to have a real conversation with Ralph Smedley about these last 100 years and what his perspective is of the organization? When we look at what he wrote, he didn't He didn't see that we would ever grow to be as large as certainly as we were pre-pandemic, or even now as we've shrunk a bit. He couldn't imagine, he wrote at one point, that there would be even 500 clubs in the Toastmasters world. And certainly in his time period, there were parts of the world that were completely off limits to Toastmasters, and that's certainly not the case. And it's an amazing thing to look around in this group and see such an incredibly diverse, amazing group, and diverse in every sense of the word. And that is a huge part of what Toastmasters is, and geography is only a little piece of that diversity. You know, all of us as individual members in clubs worldwide are the inheritors of Ralph Smedley's legacy, and this club obviously holds a unique place in history and is therefore important to our organization's present. I really wish I could have made the trip to Orange County to be there in person with those of you who were able to be at the meeting, but it's great to be online. If you haven't yet, please go to the Toastmasters International YouTube channel and watch the video 100 Years of Confident Voices, the documentary about Toastmasters. It's about 45 minutes, and YouTube may throw a couple of commercials at you throughout the video, but it's quite the amazing thing. I'm really proud of the team that put that together, part of the same team that put the big book together. So much history there, some fun lessons, and some lesser known items about history. I was quite amazed. There were a few things that I bumped into during this process that after 35 years with the organization, I'd never run into, stories that I'd never heard. And so I'm super appreciative of the effort and, of course, of our organization's history. An experience I had a few years ago, I was in a classroom, and the topic of the lesson that we were going through that day was the psychology of leadership. And the professor, a renowned expert in this field, he spent a lot of time lecturing. We listened. Toward the end, there was some Q&A that turned into a lively discussion. In my memory, it was quite good. He was engaging. I enjoyed the process and the content. I agreed with him on a lot of topics, and you know, that might be why I enjoyed it. But during the discussion at the end of the meeting, he stopped all the chatter that was going on and said, and I'm just going to paraphrase it here, something to the effect of, "Hey, everyone, listen up. I could recommend so many things to you about leadership, but if you only do one thing, do this. Stop reading so much about leadership, throw the books away, and go out and start practicing leadership." And this is a guy who sells books, right? Part of his deal is he sells books. And I thought maybe he wants us to throw away his book and then buy another one later when we regret having thrown it away. He said, you could read all the books, hear all the lectures, but you really must practice, and practice through difficult times to become a good leader. And for me, and my association with Toastmasters, it was as though the heavens opened and the angels began to sing, because here he was, in my mind, describing Ralph Smedley's process and belief, and this was being espoused in the hallowed halls of learning nearly a century later. And I thought, we're already doing this, and we've been doing it for a long time. You know, we know that Smedley had this immense passion for education in a learn-by-doing environment. And that passion and the ensuing vision of participation is, in my mind, what sets us apart, what sets Toastmasters apart from all other ways and places of learning, speaking, communication, and leadership. Our uniqueness, and looking at the group, some of you will know this, our secret sauce, if you recognize that term, and if you don't, somebody put it in the chat, is the learning laboratory of the Toastmasters Club. That is our secret sauce. It is what sets us apart. Everything that's in every Toastmasters document that you've ever seen, going back to the beginning, is also somewhere else, in somebody else's book, about communication, about leadership, about public speaking. But we practice, and we evaluate, and we do all those things that Ralph Smedley began.